it's time for me to move away from the game of basketball.
Westbrook stops at the 1 and goes down to a knee.
Bitter labor dispute caused the cancellation of the playoffs.
You don't know when he's going to be back. Two really serious concussions.
Hello, welcome back to How to Fantasy Sports. In today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look back at Week 7 of the fantasy football season. And we're going to look at some of the recent player developments and give some tips and strategies that you might want to use to help improve your team for the remainder of the fantasy season. We're going to start this video by taking a look back at some of the significant injuries from Week 7, starting with obviously the big one, Maurice Jones-Drew. Now it looks like he's going to be missing a lot of time, perhaps even the remainder of the year. So if you've got him, you're looking to add Rashard Jennings onto your team as soon as possible. And obviously he is this week's big waiver wire add. Now we'll get to Rashard Jennings later on in the video, but if you've got Maurice Jones-Drew, hold on to him obviously until we hear something a little more definitive, but prepare for the worst. Other significant injury reports from Week 7 centered around season-ending injuries to Blaine Gabbert, Nate Burleson, and Fred Davis. If you're using these guys, you could probably find good options on the waiver wire aside from their backups, although we probably forecast that any of the backups for those guys probably will perform at the same level as those three. So if you were using them, you can go after their backups, but anyone who wasn't using them, there's no real need to add in their backups. They won't be performing any better than the presumed starter was before their injury. In teams for waiver wire this week, obviously you're looking at adding someone like Rashard Jennings, who looks like he's gonna take over the #1 running back role there in Jacksonville for the time being. And really, when it comes time to adding him, go all out now. He's obviously not a top 10 running back, but any guy who's going to be getting the #1 running back job on their team's offense is definitely worthy of a significant add. And Rashard Jennings has shown talent in the past, so he's definitely someone who can change your fantasy future moving forward. So go out and go hard on trying to land this guy on your team. The other big waiver wire addition this week looks like it's Lerod Stevens-Howling from the Arizona Cardinals. And really, we're not excited about his outlook at all, so we wouldn't be rushing to add him to our team. That Arizona team has a very nasty schedule as it relates to running backs for the remainder of the season, so we would not encourage anyone wasting any dollars or waiver priorities on trying to add him. And really, when we're looking at players that we might want to be adding or trading for the remainder of the season, we start looking at how people's schedules are shaping up for the remainder of the year. And the guys that we like, or at least the ones that have pretty good schedules that might perform a little bit higher than they had been previously, specifically say for quarterbacks, we're looking at players like Andrew Luck and even Mark Sanchez. Both these guys have pretty favorable quarterback schedules for the remainder of the year, and so even their receiving positions, say Covey Fleener, the tight end there, and Jeremy Curley, who looks like the presumed #1 wide receiving option in the Jets offense, looks like those guys could have some pretty solid second half seasons due to the nature of the opponent. And for running backs with good remaining schedules, we mentioned in one of our previous videos that Darren McFadden has a good schedule, and we still stick by that. We think his schedule is quite good. But guys that don't have a great schedule for the remainder of the season, including Stephen Ridley from the New England Patriots and even Adrian Peterson from the Minnesota Vikings. We know that it's hard to sell these guys, at least all day. But if you have the stomach for it, it might be worth your while. Take a look at his schedule for the remainder of the season, especially into the playoffs. It is a tough schedule. So his value is quite high, obviously. I mean, he's all day, but really, you can get a lot for him in return. So it might be worth your while to consider trading him, especially now with considering the schedule that he has for the remainder of the season. And so that was our recap of Week 7 of the fantasy football season. We hope you found some information here useful that you can use to help improve your remainder of your fantasy football season. If you have any questions, send us an email at question@howtofantasysports.com. Otherwise, subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for future videos. Thanks for watching.